Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 547 based on novel. So let's start. If the ancient kings of all beasts have not yet fallen, how could our demon world fall into such a situation of being bullied by others? Looking at the three evil powerhouses who were harboring ghosts in front of him, Xian Yi's face sank slightly, and he couldn't help but say angrily. However, with the cooperation between him and the Demon Emperor, he was still unable to completely defeat the two strong saints. As a last resort, he decided to take the risk and introduce him into the cemetery, trying to use the super monster power in the cemetery. Kill two people. Where are the inheritances of Xuani, the Demon Emperor, the king of all beasts, and the 10-colored sky swallowing python buried? Among the three evil figures, the handsome man who had always maintained a peaceful attitude suddenly spoke up, his voice full of doubt and impatience. Obviously, during the long period of stalemate here, as strong as he also discovered that the two demon emperors have been deliberately delaying time, which has caused the anger of this holy clan powerhouse to soar. Their purpose, attacking the demon world, is only one of them, and the more important part is to covet the blood of the demon beasts in the cemetery of the demon world, and even the corpse, inheritan. With the sky-reaching skills controlled by their strength, once they obtain these incomparably precious things, it is enough to greatly increase their own strength. For them, their own strength cannot be exchanged for no matter how much territory they use. No. Don't know. According to the records of the Demon World's suicide note, their cemetery exists here. Xuani's face was gloomy, and his eyes were also staring at the huge temple gate embedded in the muddy land in the distance. It seems that from the many records of the Demon World, there is no such thing in the core cemetery. He joined forces with the Demon Emperor to introduce them into the cemetery, and use the power left by the super strong to obliterate them, but now this gate that was born out of the sky completely shattered their plan. The gates of the temple are full of ancient restrictions, and with their strength, they cannot be easily broken. I've given you the chance, don't challenge my few patience. As long as you pass it on and tell me where the corpses are buried, this deity will definitely keep your demon world safe. Otherwise, your mere power at the peak of the 8th level reincarnation is just the soul of the deity's pen. Sen Lung's incomparable killing intent poured out from the mouth of the first saint race powerhouse, shaking the whole world with a humming sound. Although this guy's strength has not reached the half-step 9-fold reincarnation rank, it should not be underestimated. After all, his strength and combat effectiveness are far beyond what Xian Yi can resist alone. For him, his strength has been troubled at the peak of the 8-fold reincarnation level for too long, and breaking through the 9th-fold reincarnation level is more attractive than ruling and invading the demon world where the glory no longer exist. Seeing that the final plan was blocked, the Demon Emperor and Xuani shook their heads slightly, and a decisive look flashed in their eyes. Since they can't be killed with the power remaining in the tomb, they can only do it themselves. No matter what you say today, you can't let them leave here alive, even if it's the price of perishing together. Once they leave the core cemetery, the entire demon world will suddenly erupt into endless disasters in their hands. That kind of situation is obviously not what they want to see. This cemetery is the resting place of the powerful kings of all dynasties, but they don't know that this is also the retreat of the king of all beasts who suddenly appeared to solve the crisis in the demon world before. What he did, the purpose was naturally to protect his inheritance and cultivation from being disturbed by outsiders. Now the void here is vaguely filled with a special rule. That kind of power was originally established by the king of all beasts and other Zeons, and it is impossible to crack them only by virtue of their strength that they do not have now in the 9 reincarnation rank, let alone knowing its exact location. The 1000-destroying demon spirit formation. After a while, Xuani's loud and clear voice resounded, and suddenly countless bronze stone gates rose up in the entire wide field, surrounding everyone. Bronze stone gates are lined up with each other, forming a very mysterious formation, which vaguely reveals a terrifying aura of sincerity of all things. Is there a trace of breath left by those super-divine beasts? No wonder there is such arrogance. In the face of such a strange scene, the leader of the Saint Race powerhouse sneered, although he had some scruples, but he did not take it to heart. Demon Emperor, follow me and kill this Liao. As long as he dies, the situation in the demon world will definitely be self-defeating. As soon as Xuani's voice fell, endless green demons flickered around his body, and a mysterious demon world tyrant appeared. At the same time, the Demon Emperor also wielded his own power together, along with this ancient magic circle, and attacked the first Saint Clan powerhouse little by little. Lord Binglan, do you need help? Looking at the vast offensive of the other party, Tianhuan Mosen and another royal powerhouse with a human face and a beast body slowly spoke up. Need not. A flat and arrogant voice slowly poured out of this guy's mouth. Buzz. The void in the entire array trembled violently, and Bing Lan, the first Saint Clan powerhouse, only felt that the space around him was changing rapidly and being compressed. Moreover, it has an extremely domineering demon aura, and it has a chaotic atmosphere, making it a splitting headache and a sense of guilt of being judged. But even so, under the joint efforts of Demon Emperor Eightfold Reincarnation Rank and Xuani Eightfold Reincarnation Rank, a playful smile appeared on the corner of Binglan's mouth and face. More and more power fell off from the two demon realms to the powerhouses, and bit by bit, they controlled the magic formation and blasted away at Bing Lan. The power of destroying the sky and destroying the earth has already surpassed the ordinary demigod rank battle. The power of technology, this power. Seeing this scene, Liu Yun's heart slowly poured into a touch of unease, as if some slowly rising power within Bing Lan made her feel uneasy. Kill. As Xuani and the Demon Emperor roared, the vast demon power poured directly into the magic circle, killing Bing Lan. Bing Lan smiled and did not move, but felt the power of this ancient magic formation head-on, and something like a dry pen slowly poured out behind him. Countless attacks fell on Bing Lan like a waterfall, but they did not cause any energy fluctuations. Bing Lan looked at Xian Yi so motionlessly. The bully weapon in Xian Yi's hand trembled uncontrollably. There was even a faint trace of shattering. The dull light above the tyrant flickered, like some kind of ancient punishment, and Xuani suddenly felt a strange power emanating from his body, and suddenly took a few steps back, and violently covered his chest. For a while, Xian Yi was at a loss for a while. The blue veins on his body burst out, his blood vessels were swollen, and his breathing became very rapid, as if there was some kind of aura that the latter could not resist in his body. With so many questions in mind, Xian Yi sprayed out a mouthful of blood. It was a pool of almost white blood, and there were bursts of cold air above the blood. Xuani, who is as powerful as the peak of the 8th level reincarnation, is actually injured at this moment. How so? The whole space became swaying, and circles of extremely cold white mist spread out from the center of the broken ancient magic circle. The body of the Demon Emperor seemed to be subjected to a huge repulsion, and it quickly collided with the space wall. The ancient magic circle was completely destroyed, and it was replaced by a cold aura that vaguely had some traces of forming a cold field. This is the power of the ice attribute. Liu Yun on the side looked at Bing Lan, who was still in the ice fog, and said seriously, "There are many living beings among the evil races outside the realm. Although most of them use the power of evil as the method of cultivation, there are also a very small number of strong people who covet the power of various attributes in the Great Thousand, so they cultivate it. This Saint Clan powerhouse named Bing Lan is an extraterritorial powerhouse who has cultivated ice attribute power to the peak. His strength has already surpassed the peak of the 8th reincarnation rank a long time ago, but they cannot touch each other. The threshold of, so it has always been between the half-step and ninefold reincarnation. The cold air spreads little by little, damp, cold, and the field suddenly formed. Being in the field of ice, the cold aura caused the blood vessels in Xuani and the Demon Emperor to freeze instantly. Looking up so weakly, it seems that he can see Bing Lan, who is in the ice fog with a sneering face. The latter is holding a goose-white pen of ice and snow and waving it at will. Every wave will weaken the ancient aura in this space by a little bit, so that the power of cold air cannot be strong, and an unprecedented crisis lingers in their hearts. Even though the Demon Emperor and Xian Yi had just tried their best for the sake of all beings in the demon world, they were still unable to stop the foreign evil race from occupying the demon world. They thought that the three of them would take the risk and lure them here, and they would be able to kill them with one blow when they fell into the core cemetery. The pure white ice silk and the ice fog hit the void little by little, forming a very moving movement vaguely. The threat of the sky has been transformed into the last time before death. Once Bing Lan's fighting skills attack is finished, the entire cemetery will be completely destroyed. God, calm down. You listen to me. In the power of angels, there is a very special power, spiritual power, which can interfere with the cohesion of the enemy's fighting skills. If it succeeds, I am afraid it will be enough to completely reverse the current situation. I can try my best. Behind Liu Yun, the angel's wings rose slowly, and it was actually filled with drops of bright red blood. Liu Yun split her wrist, and the blood of the angel dripped onto the angel's wings, causing the angel's wings to undergo some kind of transformation. A brand new power, like a newborn baby, appeared on the angel's wings. That is the unique spiritual power of the angel family, which is used to interfere with the enemy's fighting skills. This kind of power is unique to the people of the angel clan. Even the big angel clan, there are very few people who can awaken and control them. It is not like Xiao Yang's spiritual power, but a very strange existence. That is an existence that only the best of the angel family can completely control. I used to be able to dominate the demon world anyway. Now, I'm old and useless. Looking at such a tragic situation, Xianyi stretched out his hand to wipe the blood on the edge of his lips. Ignoring the feeling of weakness emanating from his body, his eyes were instantly filled with a very rare divine power of the vast void, 1,000 devouring power like a black hole dormant on its body, intensifying. Ha ha ha. It's useless. Lord Binglan is a true ice attribute mourner. His ice is unmatched. Facing such a terrifying scene, the two evil powerhouses on the side couldn't help but sneer. It's my fault, I shouldn't have brought him here. Let's go, I'll see if I can drag them to death. Xuani's face was cloudy and uncertain, and it was obvious that he could smell a power that even his soul trembled from the ice fog that was getting bigger and bigger. It's this time, do you still have to do such a heroic act? Since you don't know where the cemetery is, then you can turn it into my food. Immediately, a hoarse roar emerged from the ice fog. The ice fog began to surge and spread, instantly replacing the space sheltered by the original ancient magic circle. The ice fog began to be filled with ice and snow, and the ice threads were flying, and there was a fierce killing intent on it. Tear. The snow-white afterimage lifted the paintbrush in his hand, and suddenly stomped heavily in the ice and snow. As soon as Binglan's stroke fell, the ice mist in front of the Demon Emperor suddenly surged, and in a blink of an eye, it turned into a cold light of ice and snow that was several dozen meters in size. There was no ice above the ice and snow, but in the next moment, it appeared right above the Demon Emperor's head without any warning. The ice and snow flew out, and the indestructible surface of the ground was also smashed into a deep pit of dozens of meters. In the deep pit, the Demon Emperor was dragging the sky-splitting demon spear with both hands, and the dazzling green demon light matched the latter's full strength. Just barely resisted the opponent's blow. This is the world of ice and snow, this is also the domain of Binglan, the Death Ice Prison, the powerhouses who have fought against it throughout the ages. No one has ever been able to survive, because they have all become a part of the ice and snow death prison. In this field, he is the ruler, the king who dominates all living beings. The brush is surging, killing ice power, and no one can escape. Twice. Seeing that the Demon Emperor was not destroyed by his own attack, the afterimage of Binglan smiled and moved again. The next moment, the brush in the field of ice and snow surged again. This time, the brush quickly painted, as if it was depicting some kind of behemoth. Boom. With a sound, a looming behemoth slowly protruded its head from the height of the domain. Ice dragon? Everyone was shocked, and they all stared at the behemoth above their heads in stunned eyes. The body and limbs completely fill the entire ice and snowfield, and there is an incomparably arrogant pride in the eyes, and even the temperament is very suitable for the real dragon overlord. Frost and flame breath. Without giving them any chance to struggle, Binglan's cold voice, like a asterisk of death, slowly sounded. The giant ice dragon in the field of ice and snow slowly raised its arrogant head. The blue ice mass of cold power is slowly brewing. At this moment, the vitality in the body was quickly lost, as if even the power of the gods could not be mobilized. At this time, they seemed to be imprisoned by the surrounding ice and snow world. In this world, except for the power of the ice attribute, other powers could not mobilize any trace at all. 10 colors. Swallow the divine light. Just when Binglan thought that she had won a great victory, a cold and majestic voice resounded through the world, and a colorful halo flashed out. For a time, the world of ice and snow was completely disintegrated like a situation. The dragon of ice, and even everything about ice, shattered without a time to volatilize all their power. The scene just now was like a dream. Break, who is it? I can't find death. Consternation, fear, and several emotions spread over Binglan's hideous face at this time. The prison of death of ice and snow is his famous skill. Even those powerhouses who are about to step into the half-step ninefold reincarnation level can't resist. Why is it so easily shattered? The dazzling 10-color halo still has a lot of residue left in the void, rolling slightly, and then gradually stopped after a long time. With the calmness of the energy fluctuations, the entire space seemed unusually dead. When Binglan frowned slightly and turned to look at the entrance to this place, the void in front of her suddenly twisted strangely. Looking at this scene, Tianhuan Demon Venerable and Binglan looked at each other and took a step back. A sense of unease filled their minds. This was a coercion originating from their souls. In the void, endless gorgeous colors scattered, and then all of them were shrouded in a graceful curved silhouette. The enchanting figure that suddenly appeared was wearing an elegant purple robe at this time, and her slender waist was slowly twisting, which turned out to contain a terrifying wave that made one's mind slightly daze. On the latter's shoulders is an arm-sized snake shadow, and the color of the 10 colors is getting hotter, which will fully reveal the identity of the latter. This is. Looking at this scene, the 3 evil powerhouses condensed in their hearts, as if their hearts were filled with a lot of confusion. Sister Kaylin, why are you here? On the other side, after having to recognize the true identity of this beautiful shadow, he was also stunned for a while. 1000 catastrophe, there are many crises under the Endless Flame Alliance. Xiao Yan is worried, so he sent me to the demon world to support. Kaylin's purple eyes flickered with a strange power that captivated people's hearts, and he opened his mouth slightly. Hey. At this moment, Xian Yi also scratched his head in embarrassment. These are some 8th rank medicinal herbs, and your injuries should be of some help to your strength. With a wave of Kaylin, some high-level medicinal pills that only existed in legends came out. Are these 2 guys the leaders of this evil race? After doing all this, Kaylin just focused on the 3 people in front of her. This guy at the head is very tricky, leave it to me, can you handle the other 2? Kaylin asked slightly. Can. The plans of the Demon Emperor and Xian Yi were shattered one after another, and the strength in their bodies had already disappeared. The power in this guy's body seems to be the power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python. What is the relationship between you and the 10-colored sky-swallowing python? Binglan's scarlet eyes flashed with unprecedented madness, staring at the colorful snake spirit on Kaylin's shoulder, gnashing his teeth. The strength of this woman is very weak. If it is not for the power of 10 colors, how can she break the prison of pride? 10-colored swallowing python is me. I am the new 10-color swallowing python, Jean. Wait, you little guy. Under such a tense situation, Shutsai Chailing, who was standing quietly on Kaylin's shoulders, trembled for a while, broke away from Kaylin's body in an instant, and shot towards the temple gate embedded in the ground. The speed was as fast as lightning, and no one came over anyway, and the 10-color snake spirit reached the gate of the temple. After arriving at the temple gate, the 10-colored snake spirit slowly blinked its eyes, and a wave of 10-colored energy swept its body, as if it resonated with the temple gate, or there was something in it that was calling it. This beast. Withdraw. At this moment, a chilly terror emerged from the depths of Binglan's soul like a tide. This kind of feeling, he can only feel it in the super-strong existences outside the domain. Those Xeon strengths are all among the 9 reincarnations. Get me out of here. The next moment, seeing no response from the 2 around him, Binglan seemed to roar like a beast. But my lord, you can see it right away, let's go now, will you? Heavenly Magic Demon Venerable is obviously still giving up, looking at the few people in front of him. He can't understand, how dare this woman who thinks that the strength of the 8th reincarnation is not enough to provoke them. Hehe, a few people, don't leave. It's okay to hurt my clan, but if you hurt my sister-in-law, you can only use a few lives. The next moment, a quiet voice suddenly emerged from above the ancient temple gate. The sound was soft, but at the moment when it sounded, the entire void became quiet, and all the energy could not cause any ripples. Dong dong dong. The shadows of all beasts rushed to run at the same time, the originally closed door of the temple slowly opened, and a dazzling milky white light descended on this area. Like the new life of some kind of creature. Come. Two. Looking at the pair of very young men and women in front of him, the corners of the Demon Emperor's eyes twitched slightly, as if he couldn't believe it. One of the 2 must be the king of all beasts, but who is the other one? Shcai, go to where is my sister-in-law? The young man caressed the 10-colored snake spirit with a doting face, and immediately greeted Kaylin with enthusiasm. This guy is the king of beasts. The spiritual body of the king of beasts poured into the lower realm with the original fire. The information is a little fuzzy. The 10-colored snake spirit instantly returned to Kaylin's hands, sending out some vague information intermittently, which made Kaylin stunned for a while. But in the scene just now, it is obvious that the king of beasts has already known the current situation through the 10-color snake spirit. Thank you for taking care of this little guy in the demon world. Although there was still a lot of doubts in his heart, looking at the king of beasts who was directly showing off against the 3 evil powerhouses, because of the relationship between the king of beasts and Xiao Yang, Cai Lin had to face the man in front of him. The young woman speaks. Brat. Hearing Cai Lin's words, the woman who was following the teacher couldn't help but smile. How could anyone dare to call this king of beasts so famous? Sister-in-law. Master Xiao Yang, is he okay? The king of all beasts hurried over, with a helpless expression on his face, as if he was afraid that this woman would tell some of her scandals. Wait. This is the ancient jade unicorn, the same name as the king of beasts. It is said that the birth of the king of all beasts was based on the bloodline of this super mythical beast. During these long years, has she also been reborn? The demon emperor and Xian Yi were tumbling in their hearts, but they did not speak. Hey. The king of beasts man also stood quietly in front of Kaylin with a silly smile on his face. It's good to wake up. By the way, there are 3 more now, you all step back. After hesitating for a while, Kaylin's eyes turned to the side of the void again, but she didn't see the 3 evil powerhouses just now, so she couldn't help reaching out to protect the 2 of them vigilantly. Sister-in-law, do you mean them? Listening to Kaylin's opening, the king of all beasts shook his head slightly, and took a step back. 3 lifeless corpses appeared on the ground. It was cold to the bone, and the vitality in the body had long since been extinct, and even that body was destroyed by a huge corpse. Brute force, abruptly smashed deformation. Seeing those 3 beings who were very thorny in their hands, at this time, they were actually grabbed and killed by the king of beasts like ants at this time, and everyone couldn't help but take a deep breath. The king of beasts, who has succeeded in inheritance and has not yet regained his peak combat power, has such ability, if it is at the peak period, the length of all thing. The Great Thousand Cataclysm is still happening frequently in other places, but the Endless Flame Alliance can be regarded as a complete solution to its internal concerns, and the entire contest is already turbulent. This guy. Xiao Yang looked at the mirror of heaven, and at the last moment there appeared the king of all beasts and that little maid's attendant, which greatly reduced his worries, but judging from Xiao Yang's keen perception, it seems that the relationship between the 2 is very different. Unusual. As for the origin of the king of all beasts and this so-called ancient jade unicorn, I am afraid we will need to know in the future. But looking at today, many puzzles about Xiao Yang have slowly surfaced. The strange fire that appeared on the Dochi continent, the Fenju, the Emperor Yang Ring, and even the WNWN who were sealed in the strange fire by the Great Master with special means. The spirit body of the King of Beasts, all this seems to be done on purpose. Could it be that before the strong men of the Xiao family disappeared, they had already foreseen the disaster of the Xiao family, so they left behind? There are still many questions, but the most urgent task today is the Sea of Samsara. After all, the powerhouses who are sleeping in the Sea of Samsara are one of the indispensable forces in the catastrophe of the world today. Many things in the region under the Endless Flame Alliance have ended, and I need to rush to the Sea of Samsara. Everyone, do your part. This time, I will rescue Zhu Xianhuozhu and other strong people safely. After saying goodbye, the Phoenix clan, the Spirit-Swallowing King and others were also scattered. They all went back to tidy up their interiors and waited for the end of Xiao Yang's reincarnation. I am afraid it is the Dragon clan, or the matter of saving the Xiao clan. At that time, I am afraid that they will be needed. Be united. At the same time, the 4 forces under the Endless Flame Alliance have relatively complete measures to deal with the current catastrophe, so they are alone, guarding the region. Su Shuiying, Mu Yingying, Zuna and other reincarnations, under Xiao Yang's call, shattered the void alone, gathered towards the Reincarnation Sea area. This battle is not only to make them completely reincarnated, but also to rescue many strong men who have fallen into the Sea of Reincarnation. Not only for others, but for themselves. At this moment, many geniuses or some great powers in the Great Thousand World with the Reincarnation Seal are all swept towards the Reincarnation Sea area, and their purpose is self-evident. At the same time, some unknown secrets are slowly unfolding in the Reincarnation Sea. The location of the so-called Samsara Sea is mysterious. If there are no specific spatial coordinates, it is difficult for ordinary people to find it. Reincarnation Sea, this is a gorgeous ocean standing in the vast sky. The whole body is long and winding, like a transparent tianhe, in which the waves are sparkling, the water is colorful, the reincarnation breath is extremely thick, and the splendid energy and colors on it are fascinating. However, in the past, it was a quiet sea of reincarnation. At this moment, countless energies are rolling for it. From time to time, there will be huge energy tides surging in the whole reincarnation sea, and there are countless superpowers who have fallen into reincarnation. Recently, the spatial energy fluctuations in the Sea of Samsara are somewhat abnormal. What is the meaning of this? On the side of Samsara Sea, there are 2 halls facing each other out of thin air, and a faint and cold voice came from one of the halls. Above this great hall, there are exquisite feathered silhouettes all over the body. Looking closely, it turns out that the so-called angels have the same effect. This is a middle-aged woman. At this moment, she is sitting on the main hall with a calm face. Her posture is like catkins and jade, and the matching robes perfectly outline her slender and perfect jade body. This person slowly swayed his wrist, gently opened the door of the main hall, and then stared at this reincarnation sea area in a daze, and there seemed to be some kind of fear and confusion in his deep eyes. She guards countless reincarnations in the sea of samsara, but she has never seen the tide of energy in the sea of samsara so intense, so abnormal, that something big will happen. Did something big happen? The woman's eyes were slightly wrinkled, and she seemed to be puzzled. Liu Yu. And just when the latter was just about to make a move, there was a sudden rush of wind breaking from outside the gate of the palace. Hua Wei, what do you mean? Looking at the anxious middle-aged man who came quickly outside the temple gate, the woman looked at the samsara sea with beautiful eyes and asked softly, Liu Yu, you and I have each sent guards to the sea of samsara for the angel kingdom and the central faction of the human world. If anything goes wrong in the sea of samsara, I'm afraid the two of us will not be able to escape the blame. Hua Wei said with a stern face, as if he had already sensed something. The affairs of the outside world have nothing to do with me. My duty is only to guard the sea of reincarnation. If someone tries to harm the many powerhouses sleeping in the sea of reincarnation, this seat will be the first to refuse. Liu Yu scolded coldly, and seemed to see through the latter's mind at a glance. The First World War ended. The sea of reincarnation was originally the last place of life before many strong men fell. It has been guarded by the kingdom of angels since ancient times, but the center of the human world has stepped in for this purpose. Their purpose is probably it was Xiao Yan, the great elder of the Xiao clan who was coveted to sleep in it. However, Liu Yu is also a stubborn person, and naturally he will not let Hua Wei succeed so easily, so the two have guarded the reincarnation for several lifetimes here, and they have not given the latter any chance. This seat has received the latest information from the World Master, and nearly half of the evil races from outside the territory have been sent to attack the Great Thousand World, and the Sea of Samsara is the center of this catastrophe. Quickly remove the reincarnation tombs of Xiao Yang, Xiao Lingshan, and other adults, and find another place, otherwise a foreign army will surround the reincarnation sea. Not only you and I will be buried here, these powerful people who have made great contributions to the world will also fall. Hands from outside the realm. Hua Wei's face was bitter, as if she had good intentions. Don't worry about it. This seat has its own fixed number. In the face of the latter's hard-hearted actions, Liu Yu slowly shook her head. In the whole world, it seems that she is the only one who knows the separation of the many reincarnations in the sea of reincarnation. Ridiculous. After all, although the kingdom of angels and the center of the human world cooperate on the surface, and the water does not violate the river, how can they be confused with the pride of the kingdom of angels? Boom. At the moment when the two were talking, the power between the whole world suddenly became chaotic, circles of black energy ripples scattered here, and the endless black abyss slowly emerged around the Samsara Sea, blocking the surrounding water. In the abyss, there is an endless evil spirit, that kind of breath, which makes the soul shocked. You two are the sea guards. I want to inquire with the two of you, but I wonder if the two of you can make it easier. Just when the pressure on Liu Yu and Hua Wei increased greatly, a huge footprint suddenly stepped out in the abyss, and an indifferent voice without any emotion instantly enveloped the entire Samsara region. Even those powerhouses who were secretly sleeping in the sea of reincarnation seemed to have suddenly released a wave of frightening fluctuations because of the power of their instinct. The lineup of extraterritorial attacking Samsara Sea is too huge. The shock in Liu Yu and Hua Hao's hearts could not subside for a long time. The strength of the two of them has already reached the 8th level of reincarnation, and now the latter's casual words make them so difficult. Xiao Yang, and Xiao Lingshan's place of reincarnation, where is he? Say, you can give birth. The next moment, the indifferent voice fluctuated again. Saint Race Powerhouse, half step 9? The pupils of the two shrank slightly, and a fear quietly poured into their hearts. It seems that this time, the Sea of Reincarnation must be a place of catastrophe. But such a vast extraterritorial lineup, without the participation of forces such as the Angel Kingdom or the Human World Center, I am afraid this place will be completely reduced to Senluo Hell. The outermost part of the Reincarnation Sea area, the Sea of Reincarnation, which was originally boundless and unconstrained by any force, now has countless sticky and smelly black magic clouds floating in it, completely polluting the Sea of Samsara and making it beyond recognition. The intensity of the evil forces has already reached an outrageous level, and it is easy to completely cover the huge Reincarnation Sea, and even those reincarnation breaths are perfectly concealed, a real slaughter, slowly lingering Reincarnation Sea. On the outermost reef of the Samsara Sea, there seems to be a very strange power shelter, so it is not eroded by evil forces. At this time, there are already many figures around here, including many peak powerhouses from all over the world, and the samsara who came here because of their fame, their purpose is naturally to drive out the outside world and wake up the samsara who are sleeping in it. Damn, is it still a step too late? When Xiao Yang arrived here, looking at the sticky sea of magic beyond the reef, his heart was moved. To be able to make the huge samsara sea look like this, the number and quality of the powerhouses sent to attack the samsara sea from outside the territory is definitely a terrifying existence that cannot be fathomed. But Xiao Yang himself knew that no matter how terrifying danger contained in the sea of samsara, he had to enter it. Because there are not only their elders of the Xiao clan sleeping, but also many powerhouses in the Great Thousand World sleeping peacefully. If you let them go and let them fall into the hands of foreigners, it will be tantamount to hurting the bones of the Great Thousand World. Now for the second time during the war between heaven and earth, the loss of such power is undoubtedly very unfavorable to the Great Thousand World. Tear. With the arrival of Xiao Yang, the void above the reef suddenly distorted, and great figures flashed out of thin air. Is this the Lord of the Endless Flame Alliance? In an instant, a pale old man with a grey sarcophagus behind him walked out of the void. Although he was some distance away from Xiao Yang, he still had a strong interest in the latter. The Lord of the Holy Cemetery of the Undying, the existence of the peak of the Eightfold Reincarnation. Xiao Yang squinted his eyes, and just looked at the dying old man. The soul realm in his body was tumbling for him. The details of this guy are unfathomable. This is not to say that the other party's soul power is stronger than Xiao Yang, but Xiao Yang vaguely feels that the aura on the Lord of the Undying Holy Graveyard is very dangerous. Humph, the descendants of the Xiao family are really blessed. At the same time, a middle-aged man with a dignified expression suddenly appeared beside the undead Holy Master. He sneered at Xiao Yang just after he appeared, and the resentment and chills in his eyes could not be further increased. However, no matter what his dissatisfaction with Xiao Yang was, he was destined to be unable to be cruel to Xiao Yang today, because he and the undead Holy Master were both ordered by the Supreme Person in the center of the human world to come to the Sea of Reincarnation. The Lord of the Desert Heavenly Palace, an old rival. Looking at this figure, Xiao Yang was not surprised. The corner of his smiling lips turned out to contain a ferocious look. But if you think about it, if it wasn't for the help of their desert temple, how could you be able to catch all the black hands in the ***** world? Speaking of which, I would like to thank a desert temple. At present, the strength of the Lord of the Desert Heavenly Palace only exists in the Eightfold Reincarnation hierarchy, but he has full confidence in killing him completely. After this matter is over, I will bring my forces to join you. After all, our lineage of the Undying Holy Cemetery was once an ally of the Xiao clan. It seems that after thinking for a moment, the undead Holy Master slowly spoke. The original Desert Tiangong's ***** catastrophe against Xiao Yang made his confidence in the Endless Flame Alliance rise steadily. Joining at this time is a good thing. Hearing this, Xiao Yang shrugged his shoulders and smiled undeniably. Although there was no clear answer, Xiao Yang had a plan in his heart. It is impossible to send charcoal in the snow, and now you are still trying to join the Endless Flame Alliance. It's just a fool's dream. Hehe, you immortal guy, actually want to join the Endless Flame Alliance. I think you are tired and crooked. Don't forget the existence of that force. If you really join the Endless Flame Alliance, the end will be nothing more than. In the face of such a conversation between the two, the Lord of the Desert Heavenly Palace directly sneered and sneered. He believed that with the intelligence of the undead Lord, he would naturally not do such stupid things. And although it was said that the existence of that power was shocking, he was still afraid of Xiao Yang's complete transformation into a grown-up. After all, the latter's cultivation speed and talent were really beyond his reach. Originally, there were still many doubts about the Endless Flame Alliance. I hope that Lord Xiao you will not blame it. The lineage of the undead Holy Master is not currently ordered by the center of the human world. It is only a cooperative relationship. In the face of catastrophe, it naturally needs the protection of a huge force who is wise and safe. Several people chatted slowly, but they each had a ghost in their hearts. For a while, the figures on this reef became more and more dense, but no one had ever stepped into the Sea of Reincarnation first, as if everyone was waiting, trying to into it together. Now the devilish cloud surrounds the polluted Sea of Reincarnation, and there are crises everywhere. Even the 7th level reincarnation level powerhouse is present. If they randomly enter it, I am afraid they will only die in vain. Brother Xiao Yang. As there were more and more figures, a light and sweet voice slowly appeared in front of Xiao Yang. Zana, it's here. Hearing this, Xiao Yang also smiled casually, and then opened his big hands to embrace this beautiful figure in his arms, but no one noticed that under the seemingly intimacy of the two, there was a simple book, slowly from Zunus' arms, and passed it to Xiao Yang. The reincarnation book of reincarnators is recorded in the regional world. Such fetishes are of great help to the current trip to the Sea of Samsara. Xiao Yang is naturally not stupid enough to show off in front of so many people, so he can only do it in secret. Sure enough, if there is no such thing, I am afraid that once we enter the reincarnation sea, it will be difficult. Now their purpose seems to be to gather the power of everyone to wipe out the outside world, but I think the outside world should not be destroyed so easily. So we must act alone. Xiao Yang quietly took it into his pocket, and after confirming the reincarnation aura on it, he nodded. Looking at the pair of people in front of him, especially this one wearing a purple dress, with a cold and indifferent temperament, he is as graceful and incomparable as an immortal who is not affected by the world, and makes others envious. I have seen the ally. After a while, Su Shuiying, who was wearing silver magic armor and holding a magic sword, also rushed here, her eyes locked directly on Xiao Yang, and a ferocious aura made the surrounding figures slightly moved. Xiao Yang. Mu Yingying also came one after another. The three very important reincarnations in the Endless Flame Alliance, together with the four lords of the Endless Flame Alliance, such a luxurious lineup immediately attracted the attention of everyone on the reef as these people talked. There were strange eyes around them. Although they were somewhat jealous and envious of Xiao Yang. But now the latter is by no means an ordinary person in terms of strength and status, so he could only quietly drown in his heart. Since it's here, don't waste your time here. It was convenient to be in the Sea of Reincarnation area, but now the situation doesn't seem optimistic. I'm waiting for something important, so I won't accompany you. Xiao Yang folded his fists and smiled at the many strong people present, and then the killing intent in his eyes became more and more obvious. Lord Xiao, why are you so impatient? The Sea of Samsara has the rules of the Sea of Samsara. But just as Xiao Yang and his party were about to move and pour into the Sea of Reincarnation, there was an uncoordinated voice in the crowd, which originated from the Lord of the Desert Heavenly Palace. This video will end here.